Shabbat shalom, everyone. We're definitely gonna try that again. Shabbat shalom, everyone. One last time, just for everyone, so we all can hear it and all share in it together. We say Shabbat shalom. It's so wonderful to have you here. I'm Rabbi Dana Benson. I'm joined by Rabbi Jason Levine, and we have two wonderful students being called to Torah this morning. It is wonderful to have all of you here who are members of our Temple Beth Am community. It is wonderful to have all of you here who are joining us for the very first time. Whether this is your 100th time or your first time, we want you to sing, clap, and feel moved by this morning's service. And Rabbi Jason will talk a little bit more about that in a few moments. But we start on the top of page 70, with words of community and welcome of Hine ma tov umanaim, Shevet anu gam yachad. While it says achim in the Hebrew there, we're going to use the term anu as a community to be inclusive of all peoples, of all genders and identities. Hine ma tov. Hine ma tov umanaim, Shevet anu gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanaim, Shevet anu gam yachad. Try that with me. Try that again. Hine ma tov umanaim, Shevet anu gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanaim, Shevet anu gam yachad. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Let's do that again. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Hine ma tov umanaim, Shevet anu gam yachad. Yeah, keep it going, keep it going. Hine ma tov umanaim, Shevet anu gam yachad. One more time on Hine ma tov. Hine ma tov umanaim, Shevet anu gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanaim, Shevet anu gam yachad.
Shabbat shalom, friends. Good morning. Again, welcome to Temple Beth Am. To introduce ourselves,
Rabbi Dana Benson.
I'm Rabbi Jason Levine. We're excited to have Alex on piano, Jamie on tech, Stephanie and Andy helping to welcome everyone this morning. And to all of you who are here in person, all of you who are joining virtually, our community comes from different places, and everyone is all together, all equal. We want to make sure that those of us who are joining virtually feel just as present. They're not spectators just sitting back and watching, but we ask you, those of you joining virtually, to be as engaged, to sing along, to pray along, and we want to welcome you as well too. So for those of you in the sanctuary, if you would like, there's a little camera back there with a red light. Give a wave, say Shabbat Shalom, say good morning. Hello, our friends, hello. And to help us here, because again, some of us have been members of this community for decades. Some of us, this might be your first time ever in the Jewish community, just to orient and bring us all together. We're going to have a beautiful Shabbat services. Shabbat is a day of rest, a day of relaxing. We want as much as possible to create a sacred ritual space together. And that involves a number of things. Number one, any type of device that you don't need that for health reasons, put away. We don't need to take pictures. It's already going to be on YouTube. By the way, you're on YouTube. You don't need a device. You don't need anything like that. If you don't know how to make your device silent, find one of the teens in the room. They will teach you how to do it. I used to say that differently, which is teens, quiet your devices. Now it's the flipped. We don't need pictures. Just be present. And that might mean prayer. That might mean singing. That might mean dancing, which will be due this morning as well. That might mean learning. And that might mean never opening this prayer book once and just having a moment of quiet relaxation, meditation, again, being present. And in a ritual space like this, we're all one community. If you know the words, you can sing along. You can lie along. You can just be here. We don't need to applaud because this is not a performance. This is not a stage. You're not an audience. We are a community engaging in a beautiful day of rest together. And we will be here for a little bit, but if you need to get up and move around, please get up and move around. I grew up in a synagogue where I was told you have to sit. This is not that kind of place. If you need to move, you need to move. We have a library back that direction in our building, which has a wonderful place to sit and relax and to move about. It has a TV that broadcasts the service if you want to follow from there. So if little legs or not so little legs need to move around, move around. This is the prayer book we'll be using for much of this morning. If you'd like to join along, you're welcome to. A bit of orientation. The prayer book opens from right to left, just like the Hebrew language is read. It's roughly a 2-page spread, where the right side of the page is the Hebrew, a transliteration, that's Hebrew with English letters, a translation, that's what the prayer means in English, and the left side of the page and all the footnotes are different poems and interpretive renderings reflecting the theme of the prayer. So if what is happening up here isn't connecting with you spiritually, perhaps something else on the page might be. And if nothing else is connecting with you, again, take the moment to lay back, to be present. Close your eyes if you need to. There's a lack of sleep we have out there. Whatever you need to join us and be present. And this is a community service. This is not a private moment. This is for all of us to be here together. So it's an honor to welcome members of our community who are going to help us lead service as well. Stephanie Levine, I'm going to invite you to join us. Stephanie is going to help lead us with our next prayer, which will be Nisim B'Chol Yom. Page number 80, if you'd like to join in, be page 80 and over the next few pages as well, as we have some moments of gratitude for the day that we begin together.
Boker Tov, everyone. Starting on page 80, we're going to be reading the next 3 pages together. And I will be alternating between English and Hebrew. I'll read the first 2 lines of the prayer in Hebrew, and then in the second 2 lines, I'll be alternating. The first 2 lines are the same for everything. And please join in. This is something we do all together. And feel free to change the words in the prayers to something that's maybe more significant or important to you. Okay, so I'll begin now at the top. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has given mine the ability to distinguish day from night. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who frees the captive. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokev kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who stretches the earth over the waters. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who provides those in need. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten le'ayev koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who removes sleep from the eyes and slumber from the eyelids. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asha asani b'tselem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me free. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me of my heritage. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Ozer Yisrael bigvura. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who crowns Israel with splendor. And when we turn the page, before we get to the page 86, we're going to just take a moment to our own individual blessing. And we'll start with the same two Hebrew lines and add your English. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, for a wonderful congregation to celebrate Shabbat with.
We say Yasher Koach means well done. We can also say Kol HaKavod. The phrases mean the same thing. Thank you, Stephanie. We use those opening songs and prayers to help us be present in this moment, to let the distractions of the world drift away for just a little bit. And on page 108, we enter into our morning service. And I should add that Jewish prayers are for Jews. No one's obligated to do anything they're not comfortable with. On page 108, if you choose, we welcome you to rise, either physically or spiritually, as we enter our morning service with the words of Baruch Hu.
You may be seated. We continue our service on page 110 by taking in our light this morning. And those of us who are Seattleites, man, we are so excited to see sun any morning. And so we welcome in that light as I invite another light, a light of our community, Julia, to come up and lead us in our worship. Again, we encourage you to say Yasher Koach as opposed to applauding, but that's okay. We're learning. It's a wonderful thing. And so we encourage you instead to say Yasher Koach when Julia completes leading some of the prayers and when Mia will complete the prayers as well.
We tend not to applaud during services, but we ask people to be present in the moment and to pray along with us.
Amen. So as a community together, we will be led by Julia as she leads us again on page 110 in Yotzer Or.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvrei choshe, oseh shalom uvrei et hakol, hameir la'aretz, v'ladarim alecha barachamim, uvtuvo mecheresh, bechol yom tamid, ma'aseh reishit. Marabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam bechochma asita. Mal'al ha'aretz kin yanecha, tit barach Adonai Eloheinu, al shavach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al more or she'asita, yafa'arucha sela, or chadash al tzion ta'ir, v'niske chulanu mehera le'oro, baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'me'orot.
We continue together on page 112, Ahava Rabbah.
Ahava Rabbah ahavtanu, Adonai Eloheinu, chemla gadala vitera, chomota aleheinu, bavor avoteinu, ve'imotenu, Shabbat chuvecha, avotinu ve'imotenu, vatilam den chukei chayim, kein techaynenu utzam denu, hamerachem, rachem aleinu, v'tein b'libeinu lehavin ulehaskil, lishmoa liamot ulelamed, lishmor velasot, ulekayem et kol divrei, tamlu toratecha be'ahava, v'ha'er einenu b'toratecha, v'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha, ve'yachid levavenu le'ahava u'lira et shemecha, v'lo nevosh, v'lo nikailem, v'lo nikashel, le'olam va'ed, ki v'shem kedoshacha, hagadol v'hanora batachnu, nagila v'nismecha, nagila v'nismecha b'shuatecha, v'havienu l'shalom, me'arba kanfot haaretz, v'tolichenu kol memiut le'artzeinu, ki alpo al yeshuotata, uvanu v'charta, v'kereftanu l'shimcha hagadol, sela be'emet, lechodot lecha, u'yachedcha be'ahava, Baruch atah Adonai, havoher be'imo Yisrael, be'ahava.
Amen. Yasher Koach. We're learning, slowly but surely.
Let's not do the applause. Let's not do the applause.
Yeah, we're gonna do Yasher Koach in place of the applause. Awesome, Julia, you can go back to your seat for a moment. And in part, we do that because it's a sacred space, a space where we are joining together as community. We're being led by some of our young adults. We're all here. We're all present. We're all uniquely in this space today. We've come for different reasons. Some for celebration, some for mourning, some for prayers for healing. But the Shema, the watchword of the Jewish faith, as you can actually see, it's spread across 2 pages on pages 114 and 15. Only a few words taking up all that space. It's a reminder that this moment, we're all here. That this moment, that all that is required of us, all that's needed of us, is to be here. It's a moment of presence, a moment of gratitude, a moment of love, a moment of love. And we love all the sounds that our service can bring, whether it's a child crying or laughing or giggling. And we're grateful also to have Jake here, who is interpreting to make sure that as we say these words of Shema, as we say these words of love and presence, it can be something that everyone can take part in. Because that is what these words historically have been part of, is making sure that all can join together. If it is your custom to rise for the Shema, I invite you to do so. If it's your custom to sit for the Shema, I invite you to do so. Whatever is your custom, or if it is just the custom of being present and taking a moment of presence, we join in the words of Shema together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. If you chose to stand, you may be seated as we invite Julia back up to lead us on page 116 in the words of Ve'ahavta. Some more words of love.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinonta levanecha v'dabarta bam b'shivtecha b'vetecha Uvlecha v'derech, Ushopecha uvekumecha, Ukshartam leod al yedecha, Let Yahuvitotofon beinenecha, Uktartam al mezuzot betecha, Uvisharecha, Leman tiskeru, Va'asitet et kol mitzvotai, V'hem kedoshim lelochem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzitziechem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihot lechem lelohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Adonai Elohim Emet Yasher Koach.
We continue together on page 122. When we pray, we can do many things. We can sit, we can listen, we can sing, and we can dance. Page 122 is the prayer Micha Mocha, which celebrates our people's freedom, the coming forth from the sea of reeds into liberation and freedom. And freedom is not something just to talk about, but something to engage our whole body with and to dance with. So it's our tradition here to dance. We welcome you to dance in the aisles if you're comfortable doing so, as a sign of our celebration of our freedom and our commitment to working for all those who are still not free to this day. So thank you, Alex, for leading us musically. Thank you, Mia and Julia, for leading us dancingly. And we invite you to sing and dance with us in the words of Micha Mocha. So the grapevine around the room, join in. Jump on in, jump on in. Almost there. Keep joining in. Let's do it. Find your seats. Find your seats. Find your seats, friends. Find your seats.
Keep going towards your seats.
Our service continues on page 124. We use that energy, that momentum to take us into the next section of our service. Again, page 124, which is our Amidah, which literally translates to our standing prayer. It's an honor to invite up Miss Mia Merenstein to lead us over the next few pages. We invite you to rise either physically or spiritually as we do the Amidah together. Page 124, we rise either physically or spiritually.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Velohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Velohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Velohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Ve'hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chaste Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozir Umoshia Umagain, Baruch atah Adonai, Magain Abraham, Be'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol atah Rav Le'oshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Giburot, Umidomech Lach, Melech Meimi, Umekayem, Umatzmiya Yeshua, V'ne'em Ata Lechayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei HaKol.
Yasher Koach.
We continue on page 130. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, keshem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom, kakatuv aleyad neviecha, vekara ze el ze ve'amar, kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Meloch ol haaretz, kevodo. Adir, Adireinu, Adonai, Adonenu, ma'adir shimcha v'chol haaretz. Baruch kevod Adonai mimkomo. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu, hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu, vehu Yashmienu, mirachamav le'enei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Imloch Adonai le'olam, Elohayich Zion, ledor vador. Hallelujah. Ledor vador nagid godlecha, ulenetzach netzachim kedushatcha nakdish, v'shivhacha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush leolam va'ed. will continue leading us on page 134.
Eloheinu, Velohei Avotenu, Veimotenu, Retzei, Vimnuchatenu, Kachenu b'mitzvotecha, V'tein chelkenu v'toratecha, Sabinu mituvecha, V'samchenu b'shuatecha, V'taher libeinu, Leod v'cha be'emet, V'chan hilenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Be'ahava u'ratzon, Shabbat kodshecha, Ve'yanuchu va'Yisrael, Mekadshei shemecha, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
We take a moment in our services. There are many different ways to pray, singing and learning and dancing and in the silence. We take a moment for silent prayer through page 142 if you choose to use the words in the book, or just take the moment for the words to emanate from your own heart, have your own private moment with the divine. When you've completed the moment that you need, you're welcome to be seated. Take your books, your daughter books for the moment. Just for the moment. You're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing great. We continue together with the next section of our service, which begins on page 244. 244, Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our service for the reading of Torah. And this is a moment when we pass the Torah to Mia and to Julia, not just from family to family, but where a whole community embraces this moment, embraces this Torah, and embraces this tradition. So it's an honor to call up Ronnie Shore, a leader in our community, to offer our words of blessing as we celebrate the passing of this Torah from community to community.
We thank God for the gift of Torah and for the wondrous opportunity to share it with a new generation. Today, you ensure the connection, the continuation of legacy of Moses and Miriam, who first taught Torah to our people. As we prepare to hand the Torah to you now, it is our hope, just as you will carry it in your hands today, you will carry it within your heart always, as a perpetual expression of faith in God and commitment to your people.
Thank you, Ronnie. We ask you to remain up here, Ronnie, as we'll pass the Torah down from generation to generation, from community to generation to generation. It's an honor to call up the grandparents of Mia and Julia, and the parents as well, to come to the bima as we pass the Torah from generation to generation. We welcome you to rise, either physically or spiritually. Ein Kamocha, page 244.
Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein k'ma'asecha, malchutcha malchut kol olamim, u'memsheltecha v'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch, le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz, le'amo yiten. Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom.
We read in Pirkei Avot, the ethics of our sages, that opens with these words. Moses received the Torah from God at Mount Sinai, written by God's own hand. Moses passed the Torah to Joshua, Joshua to the prophets to their successors, then to the elders, and the people of the great assembly. We've passed down this Torah, our heritage, our values, our tradition, in an unbroken line spanning thousands of years. A tradition we continue today with Mia and Julia, that they might hold on to this tradition and pass it on to the next generation as well.
Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, ki mitzion teitzei Torah, u'devar Adonai b'Yerushalayim. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael b'Kdushato.
Torah in the hands, Julia and Mia face their community, and we together once more join in the words of Shema, page 248.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Shemo. And the students will now bring the Torah into the community so that you may be present and close with it as we continue to sing together. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, ha'olam omed, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, ha'olam omed. Lehar kodsho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho.
If you're standing, please be seated. This week we read from Torah from Parashat Naso. We'll tell you the page numbers and all those things in just a minute. This parasha from the book of Numbers specifically contains a number of very important aspects: the priestly blessing, laws of the Nazarites, a ritual figure within a ritual role within our community, and also a very complicated section called the Sota, the ordeal of the bitter waters. And I'm going to leave it to Julie and Mia, who will tell you more about the Sota, and also to really emphasize their courage and their wisdom. Even though this is a sacred text, does not mean we take all of its words and say they're perfect. In fact, there's many aspects of this text, especially the section we read this morning, which we can find troubling or disturbing, especially from our modern lens. I'm grateful to Julia and Mia for being our teachers and being a critical mind in that aspect as well. So before we read from the Torah, it's an honor to learn more about its words and its value in our modern lives. So I invite up Julia to offer a Devar Torah, a teaching of Torah. And as a reminder as well, after her teaching, you can say Yasher Korach, Kol HaKavod, or just sit in the moment and let her words wash over you. So it's an honor to learn about the Torah portion with a Devar Torah from Julia LaBelle.
Okay. This Torah portion is Naso, the ordeal, in the book of Numbers. It is about what a husband should do if he thinks his wife has cheated on him. So now you have a 13-year-old teaching you about adultery. The longer summary of this is that it gives instructions for the husband to take his wife up to the priest, who will decide whether to punish the wife. The priest will make the wife drink water from the tabernacle. If the wife dies, then she is guilty. If she survives, the husband has nothing to hold against her. Super fair. Not. So I know how much all of you want me to teach you about adultery and give you a life lesson on it. But instead, I'm going to tell you about how female rights are still not equal today. This portion shows that even in the Torah, other people had more power than someone who is female. A modern way that women are not treated fairly is payment. Every dollar a man makes, a woman makes about 80 cents. And we all know the women are working harder than the men. But with this, most women are expected to be the main care providers at home too. Another way that women are treated differently is in the jokes that still get said today. This part I connect more personally to. In middle school, people of all pronouns have made so many hurtful jokes. Some of them have been little comments like, "You're good for a girl," or "I didn't think you'd be able to do that," and "How did you lose to her?" Those get said a lot, but some bigger things I've heard are you need manly power to help carry your stuff. Or when I wore long shorts to school, even my friends said I looked like a tomboy. The expectation for girls is to wear booty shorts. All these comments may not seem bad in the moment, or we're taught to laugh them off, but at the end of the day, they hurt. It can hurt when people underestimate you. In history, or should I say her story, women have dealt with sexism from men a lot. Also from the book of Numbers is the daughters of Zelophehad. At the time, only sons inherited their family's land. This changed when Zelophehad died. He had 5 daughters and no sons. Due to the law, the 5 daughters would not have inherited their father's land. But instead, all 5 daughters went up to the men in charge and demanded the law to be changed. After a debate, the laws were changed and they got the land. In more modern times, women have continued to fight for equality, but there is still work to do. In the Jewish culture, we have changed a bunch. Modern Reformed Jews now follow the idea of helping anyone who has been discriminated against, whether it's against their race, sexuality, pronouns, or capabilities. I hope that when we leave, we can continue to fight for female rights and let women make their own choices about their relationships, body, and sexuality. I personally commit to keep standing up for myself, my friends, and everyone, not just beating the boys arm wrestling, even though it's fun.
And now we have the honor of hearing from that part of the Torah portion that Julia spoke so beautifully about just a moment ago. And we thank you for, helping us to change a little bit of history as we go out from here today as well. We are going to be reading from Numbers chapter 5, verses 11 through 18 in whole. We will be in the commentaries that you have in front of you. There are 2 different versions, 2 different editions. My apologies about that. But I will help you a little bit. On the one that just says the Torah on the front, the page number is 1051. If you have a version that doesn't have this sticker, but has the Torah, 1051. If you're following along with the newer edition, or that was the classic edition, this is the newer edition, it'll be on pages 926 and 927. With all of that being shared, it's my honor to invite up some people I think you know pretty well, who love you and are loved by you, and that's going to be some of your cousins: Ariel Adams, Molly Adams, Isabel Eggerling, Shai LaBelle, Angus LaBelle, Gabriel LaBelle, Ilan LaBelle. Please come on up for the honor of the Aliyah. Yamdu le'azohar ve'malcha Esther ve'Rachel Simona ve'Shai ve'Ilan ve'Abiram ve'Angus ve'Gabriel le'Aliyah Rishona. Go stand on outside. Yeah, big group. Get close. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavor
Borach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher banu mikol ha'amim v'natata lanu et torato Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayidaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el bnei Yisrael ve'amorta alechem ish ish kitz ta ish to uma'ala vo ma'al ve'shachav ish ota shichvat zera v'ne'elam me'enei isha v'nistera v'hiv nitma'a v'eid ein ba v'hiv lo nitpasha o avar alav rakin a v'kine et ishto v'hiv nitma'a o avar alav rakin a v'kine et ishto v'hiv lo nitma'a.
Yasher Koach. And if you all would join in the blessing afterwards.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tocheinu
Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen. And Julia, now I'm going to give you a moment or a few moments to hug all your cousins. And you all can come stand over here with me if you would like, as we now get to invite up someone else who Julia knows very well and dearly, her parents. So Colleen and Josh, if you wouldn't mind coming on up here to stand next to Julia as she is called to Torah for the very first time. You can go. I don't bite. It's okay. I know you're concerned, but wonderful. And so I get to call you to Torah for the first time as a bat mitzvah. Hakol havu godel Eloheinu utnu kavod leTorah ta'amod habat mitzvah hana ayala bat Yeshua Aharon v'Kolin le'aliyah shni.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amin v'naten lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. V'hevi cha'ish et ishto el hakohen v'hevi et korbana aleha asurit ha'efa kema seorim lo itzo alav shemen lo itain alav levonach kimen ot hu min chot zikaron mas keretz avon vehikriv ota hakohen vehe'emida lifnei Adonai velakar hakohen mayim kedoshim bichlei charis umin ha'efar asher yehiyeh Bekarkam hamishcha yidchad hakohen v'natan al hamayim v'he'emid hakohen et ha'isha lifnei Adonai ufara et rosh haisha v'natan al chapecha et minchad hazikaron minchad kinaot hiv uviach hakohen yehiyu mehamarim hamarerim Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam nata b'doheinu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
And cousins, you can take a seat. Thank you so much for joining us up here. And now, Julia, I believe your parents have a few words of blessing that they would like to share with you. With the Torah open, we have this sacred, beautiful moment.
Julia, where do I even begin? You had a very difficult start in this world. In those first few weeks as your mom, you showed the most incredible resilience, strength, and want to live. You always had a curiosity about the world and people around you, and it continues to show daily in how you interact and live. You are an old soul who finds the fun and adventure in your surroundings, easily getting lost playing piano, making art, or reading another book. Your ability to build meaningful relationships with people of all generations and backgrounds impresses us. From the special bond you have with your 99-year-old great-Grammy, to the big cousin role you wear with pride, or to the stranger on the plane you happily chat with the entire flight, you are a great listener and honestly curious about others. But we are most inspired with the role of big sister you wear with honor. You show Levi kindness and patience, create adventures for the two of you to escape into, and play along when he has the craziest ideas. You're an incredible teacher and role model, and you are so loved. Our family and the world are more magical because of you.
Julia, you're here wearing your grandfather's tallis, my dad's tallis. You're surrounded by incredible family, friends, this wonderful community. Our whole world is here for you. For you've demonstrated your commitment to Jewish values and tradition, and in doing so, you've given us, and I believe yourself, one of those gifts that will keep on giving for the rest of life. As you enter adulthood, I wanted to share a few hopes that Mom and I have for you. May you always find the courage to be true to yourself. May you continue to make beautiful music. May you keep Shabbat in all of your homes. May you continue to surround yourself with the love of family, friends, and great food. After all, you're named after Julia Childs. May you continue to show empathy and kindness to others. The last one is actually we pulled from your naming ceremony when you were quite young. That you will always remember that the love you take is equal to the love you make. We are so proud of the young woman who you are, Julia. We love you forever and always.
Mr. Koach, thank you all. Beautiful. Thank you. We take a moment as well with the Torah still open in front of us for additional prayer, this time of prayer for healing, which can be found on page 253 in your prayer book. We think of all those in our lives who need this extra prayer, a prayer of comfort, a prayer of strength, a prayer of love. those who struggle of body, mind, and spirit. They also think of those who struggle every day with hate and discrimination simply based on whom they love, where they're from, how they pray, or the color of their skin. We invite you at home and you in the sanctuary as well to share names, if you choose, out loud for this prayer for healing, so we might hear these names and hold them together. Page 253.
Of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
Amen. It's an honor to call up Mia Merenstein as our next Torah reader. But before Mia reads from Torah, we have the honor of learning more deeply about the value and the modern clarity and relevance of these words of Torah. So we welcome Mia to offer a Davar Torah of teaching of Torah for us to learn and grow together.
When I think of my Torah portion, I think of the concept of Tikkun Olam. What does Tikkun Olam mean? It means making the world a better place by our actions, taking time to repair the world. This week's Torah portion is Naso. In Naso, it talks about a few things during Exodus. The part that stood out to me the most was when God spoke to Moses and told him to tell the Israelites that if a husband believes his wife has committed adultery, he will bring her to the priest who will make her drink the water of bitterness. That is dirt from the ground of the tabernacle. A tabernacle is a portable synagogue that was used during Exodus. When a wife drinks the dirt water, if it causes your thigh to sag and your belly to descend, you are cursed. The worst part about this is that no matter what happens to his own wife, even if she was truly innocent, even if she dies, the husband is not to blame. To me, I hate this ritual. I believe that no matter if the woman has or has not cheated, drinking dirt will get you sick. From the wise teaching of Jewish scholars Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David, we see George Costanza shunned for eating an eclair out of the trash. Consuming dirt and filthy food can cause illness and should never have been used to decide whether someone has or has not committed adultery. People claim that this practice is an improvement from other cultures in the past. In the 16th and 17th centuries in Europe, there's this thing called the swimming test. If a person was accused of witchcraft, they would be thrown into the nearest body of water. If they drown, they are innocent. If they stay afloat, they are a witch and will be killed. Although drinking the water of bitterness is a small improvement, it still is not acceptable. How is it possible that this is an improvement? Making your own wife drink dirt. Although these rules are from an ancient time, even today, Evan Wilkenstein, a Jewish scholar, says, Jewish civilization continues to wrestle with the unequal status of women in Jewish law. One form of unequal treatment is unequal pay. For example, in soccer. I started playing soccer when I was 2. I joined my first team, the Rainbow Seals, when I was 5, almost 6. Now I play for Pac Northwest. Soccer is a huge part of my life, and equality in it is really important to me. I've been thinking about the inequality of men and women's teams concerning their pay and attendance. This must change because they are both playing the same game for the same amount of time and working just as hard as one another. This situation makes me think of kavod habriot, which means respecting human dignity. In section 12a of Bava Metzia, it states, one who withholds the wages of a hired labor, it is as though they take their soul from them. To me, this means women are getting robbed of hard-earned money that their male equals are receiving. This is related to soccer because the U.S. women's national team is the best women's team in the world. They have won 4 World Cups. That's the most of any other women's national team in the world. The men's national team haven't won any and have only qualified for half, but still get paid so much more. This shows how one team can be way more successful, but still get paid much less. $24 million. That's the amount of money Megan Rapinoe and other players on the national team won. They brought a lawsuit against the U.S. Soccer Federation over unequal pay. They had a lot of chutzpah to do that, and it paid off. According to the terms of the settlement, U.S. Soccer will pay men and women at an equal rate in the future. This shows how just one person can make a huge impact on the world. Even though we might not win a $24 million lawsuit, we can still practice tikkun olam in our own ways. For example, giving support to women's teams, going to watch their games. I would be at the Seattle-Portland doubleheader today, but I guess this is fun too. We also must speak up when we see any kind of inequality or discrimination occur. Just the smallest things can create the biggest difference, which is why it is so important to step in and speak up for what's right. I hope as I become a bat mitzvah, and therefore an adult, I will be able to practice and teach others about tikkun olam and how to value kavod habriot.
Awesome job. Beautiful. And so we return to the reading of Torah. We'll pick up basically where we left off, where Julia left off for us. We'll be picking up at Numbers 5, 19 through 25 will be the verses we'll be reading. For those of you online, there should also be a Safaria link. For those in person, in the classic Plout, it's on page 1052. In the newer Plout, it's on page 927. And it's my honor to invite up your grandparents, Mia, Andy and Herman Merenstein, and Nancy and Rick Prauser. Please come on up for the honor of the Aliyah. Ya'amdu Yocheved v'Chaim ben Avraham Sarah ben Hama bat Mordechai v'Isar Malach ben Yoshua Mayer le'Aliyah Shlishi.
Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'notan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Vehishbia ota hakohen va'amar el haisha im lo shachav ish otach ve'im lo satit tuma tachat ishech hinaki mimei hamarim ha'ele ve'at Vatit tachat ishech vechi nitmet Vaitain ishbach et shechovto mibalade ishech Vehishbia hakohen et haisha Bishvuat ha'ala Va'amar hakohen laisha Yitain Adonai otach la'ala velishvua betoch amech V'teit Adonai et irechech nofelet ve'et bitnech tzava uva'u hamayim hamarerim ha'ele b'me'ayich latzbot beten ve'lan pil yarech ve'amra ha'isha amen amen
Yasher Koach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher notan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam nota b'tachenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach. You can give your grandparents a hug, Mia. You can stand over here by me. As Mia, I get to call up two very important individuals in your life, your parents, Brian and Rachel. I'm going to try that again with my microphone on. We are going to invite up your parents, Brian and Rachel, so that they may be here standing with you as you are called Torah as a bat mitzvah for the very first time. Hakol havu godel Eloheinu utnu kavod leTorah ta'amod habat mitzvah mazal tova bat golda v'bracha moisha le'aliyah revi.
Baruch et Adonai hamvorach
Baruch Adonai hamorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher bachar banu mikol hamim V'natan lanu et Torato Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
V'chatav et ha'alot ha'ele ha'kohen ba'sefer umacha el mei hamarim v'hishka et ha'isha et mei hamarim hamarerim uva hamayim hamarerim lemarim velakach hakohen miad haisha et minchat haknaot vehenif et hamincha lifnei Adonai vehikriv ota el hamizbeach vekamatz hakohen mincha et azkarata vehiktir hamizbecha ve'achar yashke et haisha et hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam nata betochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach. And I'm going to invite your grandparents to take a seat. And now, again, I should turn my microphone on. And now we'll have a beautiful moment of blessing. Rachel and Brian have some words for you, Mia, your parents, this wonderful blessing in front of our open Torah.
Mazi, you are our Mazel Tov, which translates literally to good luck, before you were even born. And dang, did we get lucky with you. You are going places in this world. You truly have it all. You're bright, you're capable, you're hardworking, at least outside of the home. You're responsible. It is such a gift for me and Dad to not have to worry about you. You just do what you need to do. You have straight A's, and we never, ever need to ask you to do your work. You taught yourself how to read Hebrew. We never, ever had to ask you to study. You follow through on commitments. You exercise. You eat healthfully. You take care of yourself. You are on time for things. You're reliable. You want to do well. You just amaze us. I'm so proud to be your mom. We absolutely love and adore you. So, my Mia, may you always stay true to yourself. Do not compromise. Stand up for injustices, both big and small. May you learn to get along with your brother. May you live a happy and fulfilling life full of love, friendship, family, gratitude, and adventure.
There we go. So I started to walk into the water. I won't lie to you, Mia. I was terrified. But I pressed on, and as I made my way past the breakers, a strange calm came over me. I don't know if it was divine intervention or the kinship of all living things, but I tell you, Mia, at that moment, I was a marine biologist. Or father. In a similar sense, Mom and I became parents when you entered our lives. I can't say we were fully prepared, but you have made life such a joy. While Mom has already shared some of your wonderful traits and how we are confident you will find happiness and continued success in the future, I will focus on your primal spirit. I love that you are an absolute savage. You don't just go out for a jog. You want to run long and fast. You're not content to camp near a car. You prefer being immersed in nature. You are always seeking increased intensity and pushing your limits. You spent time during COVID learning wilderness survival. Given the choice to travel anywhere in the world, you most wanted to explore the backcountry of Denali in Alaska. You are a true badass. Snow camping and skiing in shorts were both checked off your bucket list. Savage. You are a true adventurer, and you are always looking for a new challenge to overcome. You wear shorts and a t-shirt through the entire winter. You are a master traveler and able to go with the flow. Every day we wake up excited to feed off your energy and follow or join in your next adventure. Continue to make good choices. Continue to surround yourself with supportive friends and family. Accept that you love your bigger yet younger brother. Continue to be a mensch. Find time to escape into nature and books. Explore and share. The sea was angry that day, Mia, like an old man trying to send back soup in a deli. We will always be there for you in whatever path you choose, waiting with the junior mint. Who's going to turn down a junior mint? It's chocolate, it's peppermint, it's delicious. We love you, and we're so proud of you.
Yashikoa. We thank you all. We continue on our service on page 252, page 252, as the Torah is lifted and dressed. It's an honor to call forward for these honors me as Uncle Seth and Marty, and Julia's Aunt Sarah. We invite you to rise either physically or spiritually as the Torah is lifted and dressed. Ya'amud
Hagolelelet, yeah.
Do it again. Go for it.
Ya'amdu
Thank you.
hamagvia v'hagolelet. Vezot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Ed Moshe. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai da dai dai dai. Yai dai da dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai dai. Ki lekach tov natati lahem torati ta'azovu.
If you're standing, please be seated. Thank you. I invite Mia and Julia to come on forward for our Haftarah, our reading from the prophets. You can follow along if you choose, where the blessings are found in your prayer book. That's the book you got when you entered, on page 254, and the reading itself is in the bigger books, the Chumashim, and the older edition, page 1257, and the newer edition, page 948. Mia and Julia will be reading from Judges chapter 13, verses 13 through 16, a bit of context. One of the other sections from the Torah portion we did not read today is of the Nazir, the one who takes a vow to be sacred or ritually connected with the temple. And when one takes the vow of the Nazirite, there's a number of prohibitions that one must follow. In the Haftarah reading today, we are learning about there was a couple who was unable to have a child, so an angel blessed them with a child, as long as that child was raised as Nazir, as one who takes that sacred vow, including those prohibitions. The Nazir that is born from this Haftarah portion is Samson, who becomes the famous judge within the people of Israel. One of the vows of the Nazirite is they're not allowed to cut their hair. And for those of you who know the story of Samson, that plays out poorly. But we turn it over to Mia and Julia, who will lead us now in our Haftarah, beginning with the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai aboher b'torah uv Moshe avdo uv Yisrael amo uvin ha'emet v'tzedek. Vayomer malach Adonai el Manoach mikol asher amarti el haisha tishamer mikol asher yetze migefen hayayin lo tochal veyayin veshechar al teist vechil tuma al tochal kol asher tzivitia tishmor.
Vayomer Manoach el Malach Adonai Natsrana Ota V'na'aseh lefanecha gedim izim. Vayomer Malach Adonai el Manoach Im tatzrenim lo yachal belachmeha ve'im ta'aseh olav ladonai ta'alena ki lo yada manoach ki malach Adonai hu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Tzor kol ha'olamim, Tzadik bechol hadorot, Ha'el ha'ne'emon, Ha'omer ve'oseh, Ha'medaber u'mekayem, Shekol devara emet vad tzedek, Al ha'torah, Ve'al ha'avodah, Ve'al ha'nevi'im, Ve'al yom ha'shabbat chazeh, Shenantata lanu Adonai Eloheinu, Likdusha ve'limenucha, Lehavod u'letifaret, Al ha'kol Adonai Eloheinu, Anachnu modim lach, Umin va'arsim ota, Yitbarak shimcha befi chol chai, Tamlud le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Yasher Koach. Put your books back. We continue on page 256, and it's an honor to call up Julia's aunts, Aubrey and Ashley, and Rachel's cousins, Lexi and Dylan, to help us open the ark as we return the Torah. We invite you to rise either physically or spiritually as the Torah is returned to the ark. Page 256. If you're standing, please be seated.
And you can give some hugs to your family and friends who are up here. Wonderful. And it's my honor now, actually, to invite up Rabbi Joe Prauser, who's going to join us for a moment of blessing. So Mia and Julia don't get too comfy quite yet. We have a few last blessings for you on this morning where you've led us so beautifully as community.
Good morning, everyone. Good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom. I want to begin by thanking Rabbi Levine and Rabbi Benson for sharing their pulpit with me. It is a joy to be here. And Julia, I want to say a special thank you to you for allowing me to take a part in your bat mitzvah. After all, we only met about 24 hours ago. But even before we met, I heard all about you. Word reached me 3,000 miles away in New Jersey that you are a kind person, that you are a compassionate soul, and that you go out of your way to be helpful to the people around you. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. Because, how embarrassed I would be if it weren't true. You remind me of my bar mitzvah teacher, who was probably the kindest, most compassionate, and most helpful person that I know. I know that he would be proud of you. And I'm proud of you, and I've only known you for 24 hours. And Mia, I absolutely know that my bar mitzvah teacher would be proud of you, because my bar mitzvah teacher, about 50 years ago or so, was your great-grandfather. My father, who would just be kvelling, would just be so proud of you today. You are, in part, named for him, not for Julia Child. And he's a big part of who you are. So I want to tell you just three little facts about your great-grandfather. The first is that he served our congregation when I was growing up as the gabbai. He was the guy that called people up to the Torah. And one day he sat down and he calculated that over the course of the years, he had called over 25,000 people up to the Torah. And that was a proud accomplishment in his life. Another fact about your great-grandfather is that every single night, his whole life, before he went to sleep, he said the Shema, remembering his connection to God. And he told me that he even said the Shema before going to sleep while he was a soldier in the army. He was a combat medic in World War II in France and Germany. He said he would put on his helmet at night and say the Shema, acknowledging his connection and his gratitude to God. The third fact I want you to know about your great-grandfather is the reason he was my bar mitzvah teacher is that for the whole year leading up to my bar mitzvah, our rabbi, with whom I was very close, was on sabbatical in Israel, and the congregation, as I remember it, made no arrangement whatsoever to provide for the training of bar mitzvah students. So my father stepped up and prepared not just me for bar mitzvah, but all of my classmates for bar mitzvah. Unfortunately, he also taught us how to sing, but that's another, that's another story. So I want you to remember all of that about your great-grandfather, about your grandfather's father, about my father, and I want to share with you these words of blessing with those thoughts in mind. Both you, Mia, and you, Julia, may you continue to hear the call to the Torah. May you draw close to the Torah every day of your life, and may you inspire and influence others to draw close to the Torah after your example. May you also sleep well every night, knowing that during the day you served God well, and you were kind and helpful to the people who shared that day with you. And may you, when you see a need in a friend or a family member or in the community, step up and fill that need to the best of your ability. Julia and Mia, in short, may you continue each and every day to make your parents and your family and your community and your people as proud of you as we are today.
Amen, amen. Yasher koach. Julia and Mia, I said that I would take a little bit of rabbinic prerogative in this moment to be able to offer a short blessing on both of you as well. Both of you have had your parents, your grandparents as part of the service through different ways, and I think that that's just such a wonderful thing. Julia, you've been witty for years, and now it's been wonderful to see you come into your own sense of humor, your little hint of sass, but it is what makes you such an incredible individual because everyone knows how deeply loving and compassionate and kind you are. You just also like to have a little bit of a sense of humor about it all as well. Mia, I remember the first time we met actually over Zoom, and you were excited because in that moment you had wanted to start learning because you wanted to become bat mitzvah. And here you both are. That first meeting we had all together, it was clear in that moment how driven and how dedicated and how much this meant to you. And it has been a joy and a pleasure to study with who I hope will become the next Elizabeth Cady Stantons and Emma Goldmans of our generation. We have two amazing feminist leaders in front of us this morning. And we hope that you will continue to take that strength to inspire others, to bring a sense of humor because it's always needed, to bring a sense of drive because that will get you anywhere in life. And so it's our honor, all three of us, to take part in the priestly benediction as we offer you this time-old tradition, this threefold tradition that actually comes from your Torah portion. And I couldn't have imagined a better Torah portion or half-Torah portion for the two of you. We join together. Yevorechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless and keep each one of you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
May God shine divine light upon you and be kind with you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom.
May God's presence be with you in all moments of your life and always grant you peace.
We say together, Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Ken Yehi Ratzon. May it be God's will. Yasher kochachen. Amen ve'amen. You may take a well-deserved and well-earned seat.
Actually, you may not, because I'm going to ask the...
kidding.
Actually...
Just kidding. Thank you, Rabbi Prowser.
Thank you, Rabbi Prowser.
You may take a well-earned seat.
I'm going to actually ask the two of you to open the ark doors as we move towards the conclusion of our service with Aleinu the Shabbat on page 282, the top of page 282. We welcome you to rise either physically or spiritually as we continue with Aleinu.
Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, la'tet gedula le'otzeh bereshit, shehu noteh shamayim v'yoset haaretz, u'moshav yekaro v'shamayim mimal, u'shchinat uzo begovhei meromim, u'Eloheinu ein hod, va'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא 287 ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. You can sit now.
We take this moment towards the end of our services, even on this day of celebration and joy, for a prayer of memory. The Mourner's Kaddish found on page 298, 294. Even in this moment of celebration, Mia and Julia and their families are remembering these loved ones. Julia and her family are remembering her grandfather, Ronnie LaBelle, her grandmother, Kay LaBelle, her uncle, Andrew Seffernick. And Mia and her family are remembering a dear family friend, Scott Norquist. We in our community are remembering these loved ones. We are in the period of Shiva, the 7 days of mourning, for Carol Field, mother of Richard, mother-in-law of Yolanda, grandmother of Bernie, Carolyn, and Sally. We are in the period of Shloshim, the 30 days of mourning, for Louise Leader, wife of Alan, mother of David and Jonathan, mother-in-law of Susan and Bonnie, grandmother of Tirza, Sharon, and Dana, grandmother-in-law of Matthew, great-grandmother of Zara, aunt, great-aunt, and great-great-aunt to many. We observe the yahrzeit, the anniversary of passing of Israel ben Shlomo, Doris Kaplan, Nathan Davis, Karen Deutsch, Rala Ann Eisenberg, Evelyn French, Thelma Grunbaum, Hyman Harris, Ralph Hirschstein, Herbert Katz, Keith Copeland, Aubrey Court, Stephen Kraftchik, Joe Kraft, Harry Lipson, Roberta Massoff, Fanny Malka Madelon, Arlene Milligan, Jane D. Newberger, Nancy Paris, Morton Popkin, Albert Schneider, Eugene Settle, Evelyn Seidel, Yvette Silberman, Annette Serlin, Jeanette Smith, Irving Steinman, Virginia Stout, Elizabeth Zadek. If any names have been forgotten or mispronounced, we invite you to add them to our community's memory at this time. If you're in the first 7 days of mourning, you're welcome to rise. If you're in the first 30 days of mourning, you're welcome to rise. If you're in the first year of mourning, you're welcome to rise. If you're observing a yahrzeit on this Shabbat, you're welcome to rise. If it's your tradition to rise in love and solidarity, you're welcome to do so. The Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'almar divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'b'yomechon, u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mivarach olam almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shmei d'kudashah barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Osei shalom b'imramav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, Amen. Yoshvei tevel, all who dwell on the earth. If you're standing, please be seated. I want to offer thank yous before you two help us with a few final things. Thank you to Alex. Thank you to Jamie.
Thank you to Jake
Thank
for
you to
interpreting.
Jake. Thank you to Stephanie and Andy. Thank you to all of you who joined us on the community virtually. Thank you to all of you who joined us in the community in person. And Julie and Mia, come on up. We actually have some things to give you before our closing song today.
That's right. Julia and Mia, on behalf of our community, it is an honor to give you these presents. One is for your continued learning. You'll be getting a copy of My Jewish Year by Abigail Pogrebin, a wonderful book that will hopefully continue to inspire your Jewish living and learning. You'll be getting a special item that we've started giving to our students. It is from an organization called Tikkun Hayam, or Repair the Water, since you had talked about Tikkun Olam, repairing the world. And it is a mezuzah that is made with recycled plastic that has been pulled out of the ocean and then 3D printed into a mezuzah so that you may put it on the doorposts of your house, of your rooms, so that you may always have a sense of that Jewish grounding and Jewish home. And we also get the honor of giving you a certificate proving that you did all the hard work and you did this beautiful service and led us all in a wonderful experience on this Shabbat morning.
And our final blessings today with Mia and Julia. Come on forward, come on up, come on up, come up. They'll help us lead Kiddush, a blessing of our sanctity of our Shabbat, in the Motzi over the Challah, so we can break bread as one community. We join, yeah, you can take the plastic off. We say Kiddush, blessing the sanctity of our Shabbat together as we say,
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
they'll take a sip. We say L'chaim to make sure it's a kosher blessing. Good old grape juice, and then we'll grab some. Why don't you hold up the plate of challah? Why don't you hold up the challah? We break bread. I meant the platter, but sure, loaf. Why not? And together we break bread as community as we say,
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'tei avon.
and they'll take a blessing to make sure it's a kosher blessing. Take a bite to make sure it's a kosher blessing.
And we close with words of sacred community, since we are one great community who's been here to support each other in our worship and our services together, as well as these wonderful young individuals. Kehila Kedosha, the words will be up here on a slide. If you are a temp, then we're Nitzavim. We stand here today and remember the dream. If you are a temp, then we're Nitzavim. We stand here today and remember the dream. Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. You try it, ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la. Ya la 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 ya la la la.
That's a
This is
call and
call
response.
Yes. Each one of us must play a part.
Each one of us must heed the call.
Each one of us must seek the truth.
Each one of us is a part of it all.
Each one of us must remember the pain.
Each one of us must
find
together.
the joy. Each one of us.
Each one of
us. Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da. One more time. Oh, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da. Call and response again. Each one of us must start to hear.
Each one of us must sing the song.
Each one of us must do the work.
Each one of us must right the wrong.
Each one of us must build the home. Each one of us must
All
find
together.
hope. Each one of us.
Each one of
us. Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, Kehila, Kedosha, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Oh, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. One last la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Mazel Tov, Shabbat Shalom, Mazel Tov.